Shalom, my name is Yehonatan Ben Devoy. This is going to be video 2 of how to appropriately lift up Hashem's name. In the last video, I gave the interpretation of what it means to lift his name to vanity, essentially. I gave the worldview that it has a lot to do with his reputation. Now, I'm going to explore applications for what it means to give his reputation to lift up his reputation to exalting essentially through your actions, essentially. One such application that comes to mind is the action of how you dress, showing that you are a lifting up his name appropriately is showing that you are a person who dresses in fine clothing, not clothes in rags or this or whatever. Nothing like that. That doesn't illustrate, or rather, that doesn't show that you are lifting up his name, and here's why. Because the word Shem can mean reputation, then it means that your actions are called to be above reproach. Even how you dress, how you present yourself, everything. In fact, we even see commandments for clothing that they have to be, 100% fabrics, essentially. So ultimately, not only is the commandment there to tell you that your clothing has to be 100% fabrics, but also it has to show that you are above reproach. The other act, showing kindness. Yes, the commandment only says to love your neighbor who is like you. Well, ultimately, one such application is by showing that you are a good person to your neighbor. Because why? Your reputation ultimately shows that your Hashem's reputation is indicative of the fact, is illustrated through your actions. So ultimately, showing acts of kindness to your neighbor, that's one such application. Another one is when it comes to the command to be fruitful and multiply, doing so through the act of sex. Because why? The majority of the people like that command. Actually, like that act, so ultimately, sex is, basically a act by which you can lift up his name. It sort of informs that command. Ultimately, when it comes to the commandment to lift up Hashem's name or his reputation, it means ultimately that you don't get to choose your actions the way you see fit. No, you live for the population, ultimately. You don't get to choose your own selfish deeds. It ultimately means that you have to do so in such a way that means his reputation is exalted. One such application that came up today, we were discussing Bathsheba, basically, and her desire to, and her being seen by David. Well, this is another reason by which I know for certain that she was trying to attract David. Because ultimately, in order for someone to not be, quote unquote, to not give a good reputation, you can't be seen at all. Ultimately, it would be considered a big deal by which that they set up a means by which you washed yourself indoors without other people being able to see you. Well, David did. So my assessment is she wanted him to see her. Anyways, I sure hope this study has blessed you. Anyways, have shalom.